All right, you guys, it is time to play some more One Piece prediction bingo. So, in case this is your first time tuning into this video, what we like to do is make some broad, sometimes very specific predictions as to what we could see in the upcoming chapter of One Piece. It is Sunday, so chapter 1153 spoilers are right around the corner, so what better time to knock this video out than right here and right now. And of course, after the chapter releases for said bingo sheet, we will revisit it to see how many we got wrong and how many we got right. Of course, disclaimer, this is all fun and games. You know, I just love talking about One Piece, and I think this is a great excuse to do just that with you guys. So first, before we start making predictions for chapter 1153, let's revisit the 1152 bingo sheet, because let me tell you, I got a lot wrong. So first up, I'm gonna go from top left to right. We got Scopper will reveal his secret technique to hurt the Holy Knights. That actually came true. My second one was that King Harald will be in the chapter and he will have at least one panel. That was also true. After that, I said Roger will be in the chapter. That did not happen. No. Next up, I said Usopp would want to help. That did not happen. Killingham did not make an appearance. Ripley did not fight or see St. Somers. Frankie did not do anything. No Owl Library update, which is kind of crazy. And we did not get another throwaway Jinbei line. So I was 2 for 9 that week, which honestly, it's not that bad for my first actual prediction video. So, going on to chapter 1153, and my predictions for this chapter, I'm gonna start off easy. I'm gonna give myself a freebie here, and I'm gonna say that there are going to be multiple, get this, multiple time jumps. Yes, so in the last chapter of One Piece, we saw that the flashback was taking place 14 years ago. And then, guess what? After 2 or 3 pages, we took another jump, and now we're at 109 years ago. My prediction with this one is that we will go in increments. We're going to start at 109, we might go to 90, we might go to 80, we might go to 70. I think we're going to jump around a lot during this King Harald flashback. And if you're wondering why I'm pretty confident in this guess right here, it's because of Kaido's flashback, right? When we got Kaido's flashback, we took multiple jumps in a single chapter. We started when he was a kid, a teenager, a young adult, an adult, prime Kaido. Like, we jumped around a lot. So I do think the same thing is going to happen here for King Harald. I think we're just going to keep on jumping around, because there is no way that all of the most important events in King Harald's life takes place in that 1-year time frame. So I do think we will take multiple time jumps. Here, let me make this a little bit harder for myself. I will put 2 at a minimum. We'll take 2 time jumps at a minimum right there. So my second guess, this one's going to be a little bit more crazy, but I do think we will meet a character that we have seen before in the next chapter. To get more specific, I think we will either meet Mother, Carmel, or, get this is a crazy one, or Dr. Kureha. Yes, that is right. So Mother Carmel's an easy one, because obviously we do know that she existed in Elbaf back in the past. So her knowing King Harald, I think, falls in line pretty well, right? I think that's an easy slam dunk, but Oda might not give that to us next week. As far as Kureha goes, that's kind of like my dark horse pick. I've been trying to think about ways where Dr. Kureha could come back into the story, and I think this is the best way to bring her into the story, right? Because she is so damn old, I think it would make sense if she existed 109 years ago with King Harald, right? Maybe she was the doctor on Elbaf, maybe she was the doctor on King Harald's crew, or maybe Dr. Kureha back then was a pirate, because she should be in her mid-30s, if I recall her age correctly. So yeah, I think we could see a prime Kureha make an appearance. I think that'd be so badass. And of course, since Chopper is down in the underworld with Scopper, brother, if Kureha makes an appearance, dude, Chopper's gonna go ballistic. So I really hope that happens. Will it actually happen though? That's up in the air. But let me tell you, man, I don't think there's a single person on Earth who would hate a Dr. Kureha appearance. Okay, real quick. I got OCD. This doesn't make sense, but I'm gonna go ahead and capitalize multiple time jumps. There we go. Multiple time jumps, all capitalized. So, number 3, I think we will meet The Gorosei. Yes, that is right. Those old losers, I believe, will make a comeback here. And I think they'll also talk to King Harald. I feel like that's pretty obvious, right? King Harald has been to Marijra in the past, so I think we will see the Gorosei. Back on Egghead Island, we spent so much time with Saint Saturn before the other Gorosei members showed up. It felt like Saint Saturn's arc even, to some extent, right? Because of his ties to Kuma, Tabani, and even Vegapunk. So I would not be shocked if Oda does that same thing and he focuses on another specific Gorosei member. If I had to just throw a guess in there, right, to make it a little bit challenging, let's put parentheses, Warkuri. Brother, the guy has war in his name. Dude, King Harald is the king of Warland, Elbaf. Yeah, I think this is going to be Warkuri's arc. Is that some flimsy-ass reasoning right there? Yeah, but I think it does make sense to an extent, right? Oda is sometimes a cheesy, corny guy, so I could totally see that being the case. He was named Warkuri because he specialized in warfare, so he's the one they sent to Elbaf to deal with their king. I mean, hell, that right there just sounds so fitting, right? So, number 4, my fourth prediction is that we will see new, okay, let me capitalize that, new Holy Knights. So my reasoning for this right here is that King Harald has had multiple run-ins with the Holy Knights in the past, right? I mean, hell, when Shamrock and Sommers were talking about King Harald, they talked about visiting his grave. So King Harald, Shamrock, Sommers, and maybe even Holy Knights we haven't met yet must have interacted. So I do think we will meet new ones here in this flashback, but it does bring up the question of whether or not they're still around today. Because we don't know how immortality gets passed around in the Holy Land, but there's a chance that some of these Holy Knights that we meet in King Harald's flashback are either dead due to old age, which kind of weird since the Gorosei are immortal, but, you know, we haven't seen a Holy Knight be immortal yet, or they could be Holy Knights that fought at God Valley and died to Roger or Roxty Zebek, right? I think there's a lot of ways Oda can spin this. So yeah, we could meet new Holy Knights here. They could be alive today, they could be dead, but either way, I do think we will see more people from that faction in this flashback. So, next up, this is kind of a crazier one, but we do know it is a canon event. But I think next chapter, we could meet Harudin's mother. Yeah, so obviously Harudin's mom is not from Elbaf, right? That is the reason why they did not allow her to live in the castle. But either way, we do know that King Harald did get with her. So right now, King Harald is very much a scumbag teenager, right? Even the narrator says that about King Harald. He is complete and utter trash. But somehow, some way, King Harald does flip the script, right? He does become a benevolent king. He does get along with red-haired Shanks. So somebody has to have changed him in the past, right? Somebody must have came around and really knocked some sense into this guy, you know, knocked some responsibility into him since he is the king of Elbaf. And what better person to do that than a love interest? I mean, it is a staple in anime, it's a staple in One Piece, it's a staple in the real world. I do think that we could see Harden's mom come into play, or maybe even Loki's mom, right? We don't know much about Loki's mom at all, so she does kind of fall in the same boat. So you know what? I'm going to do this. Let's put Harden or Loki's mom. There we go. Yeah, 2 for 1, 2 for 1. I'm trying to make this pretty easy, right? You know, last bingo sheet, I got 2 out of 9. I'm trying to aim for 3 this time around. So, next up, I'm going to say this, but I'm going to say Harald gets humbled. Again, it kind of ties in with the previous point. Harald is not that guy right now, right? He's not exactly the kind king of Elbaf. So I do think he will lose in some way. I will put parentheses fight. I think he'll lose a fight, which would be pretty crazy for a giant, right? You know, giants think they're the end-all be-all when it comes to strength, the pinnacle of strength itself. So it's always a humbling experience to lose to a human or somebody who's not a giant. This could even tie in with the Holy Knights, right? Maybe King Harald runs into the Holy Knights, and they're the ones who humble him. And then Harald is like, whoa, maybe I should work for the world government for a little bit, right? Maybe I should calm down, you know? I can't just keep on attacking these kingdoms and not think that anything's going to happen because of it. Because right now, you know, in the last chapter, we ended off with King Harald attacking a human village. Who's to say that that human kingdom is not tied to the world government? It could be one of the 50 nations that visits the Reverie. So, because King Harald is running amok, boom, they send the Holy Knights over, and the Holy Knights say, hey, King Harald, cut that out, right? We're going to beat you up real quick. Don't do this again. So that could be the case. King Harald could get humbled via fighting. So, now for number 7, this one I'm not confident in at all because it is an emu panel. Yes, that is right. I think we will get an emu panel. Well, I think possibly we could get an emu panel. Let's just put one page. One page of emu. Not a reveal. You know, I don't think we're going to uncover the silhouette here. But I do think King Harald will either talk to emu or maybe the Gorosei talk to emu about King Harald. Like, hey, there's this giant guy just destroying kingdoms, emu. What should we do? I think we will get some emu consultation here. But of course, this one I'm at like maybe 25%. Okay, should we do percentages here? Would that be kind of stupid? I mean, they're all like rough guesses, but let me see. Actually, wait, we'll just do that at the very end. I think that makes more sense, right? I don't want to go back and retroactively do it right now and then just do the other two later. We'll just do them all in tandem. So now for number 8, this one I think is another slam dunk to an extent. But I will think we will see King Harald's brother. I know. What? King Harald's brother? Nobody's even mentioned this guy, Sai. Does he even exist? That's the kicker, right? Because when it comes to giants in Elbaf, they always run in duos. I'm sure all of you guys might have noticed, right? Dorian Brogi, Oimo Kashi, Jarl Yorul. Brothers are like a staple here in Elbaf. Is it like a crime to only have one kid? It must be. Like, with how many damn brothers are running around. So yes, I do think that Harald will have a brother. They could be alive, they could be dead, but I think there will be a twin to Harald. Okay, maybe we don't say brother exactly. Let's do brother dash partner. You know, an equal to Harald, if you will. And of course, I got to go in and capitalize the P. There we go. And now for the last one. This one is tough, but I think it could fall in line with King Harald and his demeanor. But we could add in ancient history. You know, maybe King Harald will mention Sun God Nika. Maybe he'll mention the poneglyphs. Maybe he'll even mention Joy Boy's treasure. But either way, I do think King Harald will know something about the One Piece. Of course, at this point in time, the term One Piece doesn't exist, but I do think that King Harald will know something about it. You know, maybe he'll say, oh, you know, in Elbaf, there's a book that talked about a treasure that the Sun God left behind. You know, we should go find that, or something of the sort. I think that could happen. And now, you know, now that I've listed all of these 9 options, or should I say 9 predictions, I think it is time to go back and add in some percentages, right? Let's add in some percentages as far as how likely they are to happen, in my opinion. So, multiple time jumps. I will give this one right here. Let me change the text to red. There we go. I give multiple time jumps a 100% chance. I'm just going to put that in the corner right there. Boom. I think that's definitely going to happen. Mother, Carmel, Kureha, I would give this 70% just because this is a canon event, right? Kureha, no. But Carmel, that is literally a canon event. Next, Gorosei. What did I say? Like 60%? Yeah, I'd say 60%. There's no way the Gorosei and the WG does not talk about a rampaging giant. New Holy Knights. This one I'm less confident in. Well, no. Like, we know the Holy Knights know Harald. So, again, it is a canon event. But will it happen this soon? You know what? I'm going to give it the same percentage as the Gorosei. I say 60% chance. 60%. Loki and Hardin's mom, I'm going to give 90. I think Oda is going to go fast in this flashback. So if that's the case, definitely 90% chance of meeting Loki or Hardin's mom. Harald getting humbled, I'm going to go really low on that. I think 25% chance. You know, I think he will get humbled, and I think he will lose a fight eventually. But will it be in this next chapter? Because I do think we will spend a lot of time with Harald. You know, I just said that Oda's going to go fast, but at the same time, he's going to take his time. If I had to put a number to it, I'd say we're going to be in this flashback for about 3 to 4 chapters. And I can't imagine Harald losing in his first chapter. Like, that's like a second, third chapter kind of event, right? So, Emu panel. I'm going to kind of lowball this one too, but not super low. I'm going to say 30%. You know, because if we're saying Gorosei and Holy Knights are at 60, I mean, their boss showing up, I mean, that's like a slam dunk, right? 30%. And of course, Emu, again, another canon event with Harald, right? This is something we know happens. Emu and Harald do know each other, so 30%. So now, Harald's brother dash partner. See, this is a shot in the dark because we have no hints at this whatsoever. This is not canon. So this one's more abstract. I would say that even though we have no hints of Harald having a partner or brother, I do feel oddly confident in this. So I'm going to say 80%. Yeah, this is going to be wild, but I'm going to say 80% chance. Just because we've seen that with all the other prominent giants, I think it's pretty much there. Like, there's no way that Oda does not give that treatment to Harald. Ancient history, this one I'm like super lowballing. I think this is 10%. This is the hardest one to get. I think that it could make sense, but Harald, like, it's tough, right? He's going around fighting people right now. He's going around causing chaos. So would he actually mention history? Like, that's just... No, yeah, I don't think so on that one. But there we have it, guys. Those are my predictions on what we should see in 1153. Again, like I said, I'm going to revisit this next week to see how many we got right or how many we got wrong. But looking at this list right now, I do feel oddly confident, right? If I was a betting man, I'd put money down on this one. But yes, next week, though, I will be leaving a couple of pinned comments in the upcoming videos, as well as a discussion post on the channel, just talking about your guys' predictions so that we can get some of your guys' opinions in here too. But until then, though, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you thought about all this down below. And I'll catch y'all later when these spoilers for 1153 drop. Keep on keeping on, brother.